Yo, it's episode number 60 of the franchise with me, your boy, Daniel Ehrenberg.
And with me, your boy, Henry Papali on the GSP South. Welcome, folks.
Yep, Garden State Parkway. Yep.
Thanks for clarifying.
Sorry, I didn't know if I was right, and I was pleased at myself for knowing it.
Yeah.
You
did it.
Hey, today we're covering Major League, a Henry pick, decidedly.
True.
Yeah. Our first ever sports movie.
Yeah. It was a Henry pick, but picked because of trying to fit into Daniel's.
My summer theme. I've been wanting to do mostly movies that take place during the summer because in summer I hate watching shit that doesn't take place in the summer.
Yeah.
So every year FX puts on Fargo in the summer. I want to kill myself.
Yeah. So it is a beloved movie of mine. So I was happy to do it.
At least in Dunkirk, they're on the beach, right?
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it's a summery type feel.
Yeah.
Huh.
Done swimming. All right.
Yeah, definitely.
We're ready for... Oh, you know what? Before we start Major League, Henry...
What's going on?
How about a franchise update?
Oh, it's been a couple of months.
Yeah, you have that franchise update theme pulled up?
Oh, let me see. I have to get my file out there. Okay. Here we go. Here's a franchise update!
Ooh, man, that is a tasty lick. Yeah.
I wrote that before we started the show, just in anticipation if we ever did a podcast. I wrote like 30 different jingles, and that was one of them. So,
well, they hold up. They stand the test of time.
I think so.
Yeah.
All right.
So this past.
Wait. Hold on. I should probably play it again.
Sorry. Okay.
It's a franchise update!
Yeah, here we are with the franchise update. I'm your host, Daniel Ehrenberg.
All right. Hanky Pap is usually on the receiving end of this barrage of fun franchise updates.
Franchise facts.
Yeah.
All right. This past weekend was San Diego Comic-Con, so here I have all the nerdy news briefs. All right?
Big time.
That's right, baby. Let's get it right started with the DC Cinematic Universe. All right? I've got two pieces of DC Cinematic Universe news. One is that Wonder Woman 2 has already been set for 2019.
Wow. Okay.
Quick turnaround. Now, Henry, we decided in the past that the perfect turnaround for a franchise sequel is 3 years.
Oh, did we decide that? Yeah, you're right.
4 years, we're forgetting about the motherfucker.
Right.
2 years, it's too fast. They don't have enough time to work on it.
I agree.
All right? They're only giving Wonder Woman 2 years. Can Patty Jenkins pull it off?
I think Patty Jenkins can.
But will DC let her?
I think DC won't.
Jeff Johns has officially signed on as the head of story over there at DC.
Okay.
I think that's a positive move for them.
Sure.
Because reportedly, and Christian Toto sent me a link to this article, Zack Snyder is taking a step back from the DC universe.
Oh, that's too bad.
He's not going to be involved in the overseeing of it all that much.
Okay.
There were also rumors that Affleck was going to get ousted as Batman after the Justice League movies, but
I read that.
But Affleck at Comic-Con insists that that's not true.
And Matt Reeves is supposed to helm the Batman, correct?
Right. Well, we knew that already. Maybe
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah.
Matt Reeves is a fine filmmaker. I've enjoyed him all the way back to his work on the pilot episode of Felicity.
And why am I not remembering what I just saw? Planet of the Apes. He just did.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Yeah, haven't seen it yet, but enjoyed the first two.
It was great. It's the best one.
Okay. All right, more DC Cinematic Universe news.
Yeah.
The Flash movie will be entitled Flashpoint.
Oh.
Now, the significance of that title is not lost to comic book readers like myself.
Okay, it is to me.
Flashpoint was a miniseries that reset the entire DC universe right before the New 52 happened.
Oh.
It was sort of a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of thing. It ended the universe and rebuilt it. So if we're already rebooting the DC universe, I don't know if that's great.
Boy. Wow. Okay, so does that mean that everything we've seen doesn't count? Is that their way of...
No, I mean, I'm sure they'll find any way around that, but it sure seems that way to me. Another weird thing about that is that the third season of the Flash TV series was a loose adaptation of the Flashpoint comic.
That's also a movie that already exists, Flashpoint. But
what
doesn't
movie?
matter. I don't remember. But there is a movie called Flashpoint. I can look it up if
Sounds
you want.
like a DB Sweeney joint.
Yeah.
So I just think it's weird, like, they chose a different actor, Ezra Miller, to play the Flash in the movie as opposed to Grant Gustin, who does it on the TV show. So we're trying to distance ourselves from this TV show, but we're literally going to now do an adaptation of the storyline that was the most recent season of this TV show.
Right. Good call.
It's a really odd choice, and I know why we're doing it, because Jeff Johns wrote the comic book Flashpoint, and now he's in charge of creative.
Okay. All right. Well, I think one of the only Flash comics I really ever read was that I think I told you about a few years ago, right? That Jeff Johns Flash.
Yeah,
I read,
the two best Flash runs ever are Jeff Johns and Mark Waid. I think you read the Flash Rebirth.
Yes.
That was pre-Flashpoint. That's a really good comic.
Yeah. Okay. Mark Waid. I've read his Daredevil work. Have I not?
That's true, buddy.
Yeah.
You're on top of it. All right. Let's take you to Marvel.
All right.
Captain Marvel. You're aware that's going to be a movie.
Yeah, Brie Larson.
Brie Larson is Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
We got some news about it. It's going to be set in the 90s, period piece.
Okay.
So pre-Iron Man, in the chronology of the Marvel Universe cinematic whatever. This will be first.
Huh.
And the villains will be the Skrulls.
Oh, okay.
What's interesting about that is if they're introducing the Skrulls in this Captain Marvel movie, they're alien shapeshifters.
Right.
And if we're going to go ahead and introduce them into the Marvel Cinematic Universe pre-Iron Man, then we can do an adaptation of Secret Invasion where it turns out that important Marvel Cinematic characters were Skrulls the entire time.
That's right. Wasn't Spider-Woman one of them?
Yeah. Yeah, in that comic book, yeah.
Yeah, the one I read?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that could be exciting. That could be fun.
All right.
And I'm looking forward to the movie. I think Brie Larson is perfect casting. Should be nice. Cool. And Samuel L. Jackson is going to play Nick Fury in that movie without an eye patch.
Oh.
It's pre him losing his eye.
And it must be Pulp Fiction era looking Sam Jackson, so do some makeup there.
Well, I mean, it's not like he's playing Samuel L. Jackson. It could be that Nick. Oh, well, I guess
he'll be.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah.
It's okay.
Although he's aged pretty well, so
yeah, he's preserved. That guy. That guy's like in his 60s. That's what happens when you refuse to run on movie sets. You age it.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson has it written into his contract that he won't run in any movie. And so I love watching like Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and there's like he's anytime there's like a big chase scene, Nick Fury always gets like stuck under a car or something because we can't otherwise justify that he won't run.
Huh.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's a true story.
Maybe that's one of the reasons he took snakes on a plane, because he knew in a plane he wouldn't have to run.
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah.
Deep Blue Sea.
Right.
I get eaten halfway through. won't have to run from that shark.
No, I'll swim, but I won't run.
He doesn't even swim. He's just walking around that
true,
base.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
saw that movie on my birthday in theaters.
I bet
Ant-Man
you
and
did.
Ant-Man and the Wasp, Henry. Ant-Man and the Wasp, the sequel to Ant-Man. Peyton Reed is back to direct, and we have 2 new cast members. All right, now you love
Michelle
Ant-Man.
Pfeiffer, right?
Yeah, you love Ant-Man because Michael Douglas is in it, and you love Michael Douglas. Mhm.
I loved Ant-Man anyway, but yeah.
He's recovered from his pussy cancer, and he's ready to go back into the world again. Speaking of pussy cancer, John McCain. All right. Sorry guys. All right. Michelle Pfeiffer is playing Janet Van Dyne, the original Wasp. So she's like Michael Douglas's ex. I don't know if they're gonna deal with the fact that Henry Pym beat up Janet Van Dyne in the comic.
Oh, that's right.
But we'll see.
Oh.
It's a pretty lighthearted movie. Maybe I don't want them to bring that up.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we also have Lawrence Fishburne attached. And he's going to play Goliath, who is really only remembered as the character that died during Civil War.
That's only how I know him.
Yeah. So, I mean, he was an Avenger for a long time. So, we can now go 3 for 3 on our track record of Lawrence Fishburne showing up halfway through a movie and ruining it.
For sure.
After
for
Predators and
Uh,
Passengers.
Oh, yeah, I thought you meant on our show, but yes, correct. In our discussions off air, yes, that's right.
Mhm.
That's right. Yeah, good. Good for him.
Okay, Marvel adaptation, but not a cinematic universe movie. Okay. Now this is
okay.
this is very exciting. I'm legitimately excited for this. Noah Hawley, the creator of the Fargo TV show, as well as Legion, which is an X-Men comic adaptation, is now signed on to write and direct a Doctor Doom movie.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow.
interesting,
Weird.
right?
Does this have to do with the Fantastic Four not being involved in the Marvel universe?
That's right. Fox has control of all the Fantastic Four characters, including Doctor Doom, and it's partly why a lot of people are a little confused by the fact that the Skrulls are now going to appear in Captain Marvel, because their first appearance, I think, is in like Fantastic Four #2.
Okay.
So they were originally Fantastic Four villains, but I guess now they're just Marvel villains.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. I had no idea about that one.
So Noah Hawley's an incredible talent, and I'm really excited to see what he'll do with that movie.
Any who's playing Doctor Doom? Do
We
know?
don't know yet. Probably not Julian McMahon.
Maybe Tom Hardy.
He's already playing Venom, but
I know,
mean, he's
I
definitely
know.
going to be attracted to that role. It does have a face mask the entire fucking time.
Right. He doesn't have to show his face again. So
Fucking Tom Hardy.
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy.
Oh, stop it! Just stop.
He
it.
makes me so angry.
Yeah, I know. Well, you haven't seen any of the movies where you can see his face, so.
I saw
Just-
Mad Max Fury Road.
Yeah. Well, you don't see his face for a lot of that.
Oh,
At least the first hour. Yeah.
All right. John Wick.
Another one?
Not only another one, Henry. John Wick Cinematic Universe.
Oh man. All right. I don't know if that's well, no, wait. I do know that's not necessary. Oh my. There's enough going on in that universe to have that happen?
I haven't seen any of the John Wicks.
Oh, I saw the first one. It was fun. I actually liked it, but not enough to see the second one, and certainly not enough to justify a universe. My lord.
Cinematic Universe. John
Yeah.
Wick.
Uh-huh.
Very exciting stuff.
Okay. All right.
All right. Terminator.
Oh man, I want to hear this one.
James Cameron's back.
Oh, good.
Is he directing? No, he's directing 4 Avatar movies right now.
Right, he's busy.
Is he producing? Yes, he's executive producing a new Terminator trilogy.
Okay.
The last 2 movies tanked so horribly, but somehow they have the confidence in James Cameron that they're going to commit to a trilogy of these movies.
Oh, yeah, sure. Well, the man can do whatever he wants, so it doesn't really matter if they tanked, does it? I mean,
I can't imagine they'll do another one. They could have a Divergent series on their hands.
yeah. Oh.
You know, like they still haven't made that last one because the other ones did so badly.
Yeah, they were. I think they were running out of words. You know, the Divergent, Allegiant, Resurgent.
Right.
What else could you say?
Quotient. Yeah.
Quotient of solace.
Yeah. Speaking of James Bond.
Oh, all right.
Mm-hmm. The 25th James Bond film now has a release date.
Okay.
It doesn't have a script or a director, but it has a release date.
Is Daniel Craig sticking around?
Daniel Craig is sticking around.
Oh, relief.
I am.
Sigh.
I was pleased by that too.
Jesus, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So that's
Okay.
it. Bond 25 coming in 2019.
Oh, whiles away. All right.
2 years.
Okay. Yeah.
They got 2 years to put this thing together.
Let's hope it's an improvement on Spectre. Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
That's all I got, Hank.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some of that, I'd say about 50%, 40. I'd say about 30. I'd say about 25% of what you said. I'm excited about. Yeah.
I'm excited about Captain Marvel
Yep.
and that Doctor Doom movie.
Captain Marvel, James Bond, Doctor Doom. I don't know, man. I'm hesitant.
But it's Noah Hawley. I've never cared about the character Legion before, but that show's great.
Yeah. Okay. Good point.
Sometimes you gotta just trust a director.
Yeah. You're right. It's true.
It's true. All right.
Okay.
You
Well,
wanna?
Good work.
Let's put on the major leagues.
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's get back. Let's get promoted from the minors and get started here. Yeah.
Yeah. Those movies are all in the pharma system. This movie's already a pro. All right.
Oh, nice one.
Thank
That's
you.
Good. That was creative. Yeah.
Major League released April 7th, 1989.
Yep.
Right at the beginning of baseball season. Smart.
Mm-hmm.
A budget of $11 million, box office of 49.8.
Pretty good.
It's a hit.
Yeah.
It's number 26 at the box office for that year, just ahead of See No Evil, Hear No Evil. What is that?
That's Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor.
Oh, okay. Is
Yeah,
it any good?
I never saw it. I never went in for their movies. I got to be perfectly honest, even though I know a lot of people love them.
Yeah.
But
It's also ahead of Black Rain.
oh, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
your favorite. And it's just below Star Trek V, one of the worst Star Trek movies,
Agreed.
and The Abyss.
Yeah, which is a movie you really like, right?
Yeah, it's a good one.
I like it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
David S. Ward is our auteur here. He wrote and directed this film.
Yeah.
He'd gotten his start in the 70s, probably best remembered for writing The Sting.
Yep.
And then he made his directorial debut in 1982 with Cannery Row, which did well enough that he got a chance to do another one. Cannery Row was a John Steinbeck adaptation, and it's pretty well remembered, right?
I never saw Cannery Row.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I'd be intrigued.
Yeah,
he also wrote The Sting 2
Yeah,
and The Milagro Beanfield War.
sure. Which had the recently deceased John Hurd in it. Right?
Oh, yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor John Hurd.
I like John Hurd.
I like John Hurd too. We already covered him on the podcast with Home Alone, and we said some very nice things about him.
Yeah, I liked it.
Who else died recently that we wanted to talk about on here?
Well, I didn't want to talk about him, but wasn't that dude from?
Yeah, I just wanted to
Yeah.
bring that up because we've covered him on the show. Chester
Sure.
fucking Bennington,
Yeah.
the guy from Linkin Park. He killed himself at the age of 41. He was in both of the Crank movies,
Yeah.
and we loved him in those.
Did we?
Yeah, because it's just funny to see the guy from Linkin Park show up for a second.
Right. We must have talked. That must have been when you and Isaac were talking about it, because I don't remember. I don't even know that guy at all. Yeah. Not a Linkin Park fan. So.
Well, in the end, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. I don't know what that means, but.
Henry, I'm one step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break with you, man.
What?
Crawling through my skin. I don't fucking know. All right. Hey. These are all Linkin Park lyrics. Sorry.
Jesus, you scared me for a minute there.
You thought I was having a stroke?
I wasn't sure what was happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Those were Linkin Park lyrics?
Yup.
Wow. All right, I'm glad, Jim. Thanks. You made my heart stop. I thought you were having a crisis or something.
No,
Okay.
no. When I said in the
Jesus
end it doesn't even
Christ.
matter, you thought I was like walking off the podcast?
No, I thought at that point in the end it didn't matter about him, and then I thought when you said you're crawling out of your skin, you're about to break, I thought maybe you were having some personal problems I wasn't aware of. So
No, just Linkin Park lyrics.
I understand.
Okay.
Okay, back to Sanity World. This David S. Ward also wrote Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, that was after Major League. I mean, he had a pretty big career as a writer.
Yeah,
slash
I mean,
director.
he wrote the first Zorro with Antonio Banderas.
He did? No, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I don't see that on his fucking IMDb page.
Oh yeah, well look again, my friend. It's there.
I'm looking currently.
Okay. You see that I'm right.
No, I don't. What movies do you like of him?
He wrote The Mask of Zorro, 1998.
It doesn't come up under his fucking thing.
Well, it's coming up on Wikipedia.
Well, I don't trust Wikipedia. I trust IMDb.
Well, we have trust issues.
Do you like any of his other movies as a director?
No.
Not a King Ralph fan?
No.
Some people like that movie.
Yeah, not The Program. No, nothing.
The Program is another sports movie, right?
Yeah, it's like high school football. Who gives a
Is
shit?
Burt Reynolds in that?
I believe it's James Caan.
Oh, yeah? Not Burt Reynolds? Oh, I'm thinking of The Longest Yard, aren't I?
Yeah, you're like 20 years off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so yeah,
But
he did Major League 2, which we'll talk about next week. Down Periscope, I saw in theaters. With Kelsey Grammer.
The fuck out of here.
I did.
Well, you were 10.
Yeah. And but I was a weird 10-year-old. I didn't see it because it was a kids movie. I saw it because I loved Frasier.
Yeah, all right, that's fine. David S. Ward. But let's just call a spade a spade. Major League and The Sting are his accomplishments. No.
Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, that's true. That's a nice movie.
Speaking of Frasier, now maybe I hear the blues are calling, tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Oh wow, just rattling off lyrics tonight.
Yep, maybe I seem a bit confused. Well, maybe. But I got you pegged! Ha ha!
Yeah, maybe before the show's over.
But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
Maybe before the show's
They're calling again!
Well done.
Thank you.
I was waiting for it. Yeah. What a team we are!
We're like the Cleveland Indians.
Yeah! Just a ragtag bunch of fuck-ups that end up winning. We're winning! We're winning!
Oh, all right. Major League takes place in Cleveland. It's based on like a true story, kind of, right? Do you want to explain that?
No. Yeah, sure. I'll explain that. It's not based on... It's just based on David S. Ward growing up an Indians fan and being fed up with them losing for like 40 years.
But there apparently was a plot at one point to drive down ticket sales of a particular team so that they could move states. and then they rallied, and that didn't happen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And I did some research on this.
There you go.
I don't remember that. I might have heard about that when it actually happened, but I don't remember it. Yeah.
It's not a good plan. That's the flaw with Major League right away. Because they decide that the only way to make it is to like drive up ticket sales, so we better win a World Series or the pennant or whatever. And they do that, but really all they had to do was play decent baseball. Because people start showing up. Like in that final game, it's a sellout crowd. They didn't have to win. It doesn't really matter. They got the tickets sold.
I think that whole setup is just it's just a MacGuffin to get us into the movie. I mean, I don't really think it
But
really
that's the plot of the movie. If
doesn't really
if
matter.
That's not the plot of the movie, then this movie is just a meandering piece about a baseball game, about a baseball team, which it kind of is, ultimately.
I don't know enough about baseball sales and how teams are run to know about whether that is an inconsistency.
Well, you haven't read that Sweet Billy Bean?
Yeah, I did. I own that book.
Oh.
But yes, the book called That Sweet Billy Bean.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, no. But so you already didn't care for the premise?
I just think it's just there. It's not ultimately justified. It doesn't really matter. It's just about this team hanging out. It's mostly a series of vignettes rather than a plot.
Fine with me.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily complaining because it's an affable movie or whatever.
Right.
But I could have used some more narrative drive. Ultimately, what we're supposed to care about is Tom Berenger getting back together with Rene Russo, and I really don't.
I don't know that that's true. I think that we're supposed to care about it, but we're more supposed to care. That's just a subplot in the movie.
But it's more than a subplot. I really think this is Tom Berenger's movie. He's the star of the movie, and I kind of didn't remember that.
Oh, see, I knew that, and I agree. I didn't always think about it either as his movie, but he definitely is, and I like that. I actually like that he's the focal point in a way. I thought it was cool. I think he's a great character. I think it's one of Tom Berenger's best performances. We can talk a little bit about Tom Berenger.
But he's giving one of the least interesting performances in the movie, and ultimately...
Well, no, that's just because he's not playing a fucking maniac.
Because he's the straight man. But I want to see more Charlie Sheen. I definitely want to see more Wesley Snipes. And here's the thing the movie has going for it. Because it's a totally watchable, good movie, even if you are really distracted by the bad stuff in it. Because the cast is so amazing. Every part is so perfectly cast. Wesley Snipes is Willie Mays Hayes. Corbin Burnson's really good in this. Yeah. Rene Russo's great. Dennis Haysbert is fantastic.
James Gammon as the coach.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, doesn't get much more perfect for that role than that guy. Yeah, no, it is. It's one of it's one of those movies we've come across a few times for sure, but we got to give a big casting shout out because it is perfectly cast for show. It is shot by Ronaldo Villalobos. Do you know what else this man shot?
No.
He shot Risky Business, A Bronx Tale, and some episodes of season 1 of Breaking Bad.
How about that?
And he directed something that I only wrote down for you. He directed some episodes of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, what season?
It didn't say.
Okay.
I think he's all over the map on that one.
All right, well, thank you for writing that down.
Yeah,
that makes me like him a lot.
So I mean, I'm willing to. I don't care about the intro. I know it's illogical, but it's a fucking farcical comedy that I just think is a great baseball movie, and that doesn't really. I didn't feel like deconstructing the narrative as some kind of Fitzgerald plot. I mean, it doesn't really matter, does it? It's not that.
No, I mean, I guess not. It's just there for fun gags. It's just maybe I've seen Major League 2 too much.
Oh, yeah, and I have not. I think I've only seen it once, and I don't remember anything about it.
Yeah, we're coming at this franchise from opposite directions, where Major League 2 was on TV a lot when I was a kid, particularly, I think, Comedy Central.
Yeah.
And I watched the fuck out of it. Like, I watched it probably 4 or 5 times before I ever saw Major League 1.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. And so that's kind of my Major League movie, even though it's not technically better than Major League, I don't think.
Uh-huh.
But, yeah, it was only after seeing it that many times that I went out and rented the original.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've only seen this movie a handful of times, probably like 3 or 4, which is still a lot for me.
Yeah, it is.
But I've seen Major League 2 more.
Wow.
And so
Boy.
I didn't really remember some things about this movie, like the fact that it's kind of a Tom Berenger vehicle, like the fact that it has a lot more dramatic moments than Major League 2. It's a pretty earnest film.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It is. It has a bizarre balance of comedy and emotional moments that I think it's kind of amazing what it pulls off, because it really is like it's like a total goof. And then it also manages with these short, quick vignettes to get you really invested in the team and what they go through and through the various characters, I think.
It has interests. It's interested in the process of aging.
Yeah.
It's interested in relationships. It's interested in the lower class of Cleveland. It's trying to do a lot of things, and it's a little muddled and a little self-serious at times, I think. But it's definitely a fun movie with a great cast. That's mostly what I have to say.
I disagree with almost everything you said, but
okay. Well, why don't you talk on it some?
Well, I don't think it's muddled. I think it has I think it has a consistent tone. I mean, I think there are parts that I noticed this time around where I do think the romance scenes between Berenger and Russo, like in the library and in the apartment of her fiance, and even the sex scene, I think they go on a little too long, and I think they could have been trimmed, but I do think they help. I think they work well, and I think they have a nice chemistry together. And so that, it doesn't bother me, and I just think it consistent. One of the things, one of my first notes actually was that I really liked the editing in the movie, like the actual cuts, like the comedic cuts. It kind of reminded me of Fletch, like the direction doesn't linger too long on an image, and it cuts right at the correct time, and that's what makes a lot of the jokes funnier to me.
Yeah, there's a couple of stingers at the end of scenes where we just cut to someone reacting to what just happened, and
yeah,
that's a good line.
Like in the very beginning, when Rachel Phelps, the villain brings the roster to the managers and the scouts, and she shows them, and they're all looking through this bunch of has-beens and nobodies, and the one guy looks at her and goes, "This guy here is dead."
Yeah,
and she goes, "Cross him off then."
Yeah, that's nice,
right,
and that was a mostly dramatic expository scene, and they managed to get a good joke in at the end.
Why do you think that was dramatic expository?
The scene before that joke. It's
what was
the scene
really?
where they're going over the people that might make the team.
Oh, really? You thought that was dramatic?
I thought it was a little dry.
Oh, man, I thought the whole thing was kind of funny. All right.
I don't know.
We're on different planes tonight.
It's good though. I'm not talking shit about Major League. It's a good.
No,
movie.
I know. I'm just your analysis is interesting because it's not any really where near mine is, but that's good. That's good. That's a good thing.
You're in love with this movie.
Yeah. I also I really thought the red tag scene was really good. They go through. We didn't even get really the rest of the plot.
Yeah.
But,
can you say the plot?
Yeah. So basically, there's tryouts, and they call these guys in, and so you get Rick Vaughn, who is a juvenile delinquent in the off season, played by Charlie Sheen, and he's a pitcher, and you get the flamboyant runner, hitter Willie Mays Hayes, played by a great Wesley Snipes. And you get Roger Dorn, the pampered prima donna player. You get Eddie Harris, the old veteran pitcher who's barely alive. And you get Tom Berenger, the veteran who's probably on his last year. And you get Pedro Serrano, the hard-hitting Cuban who can't hit a curveball. All these guys come together to form this ragtag group. And
yeah, I mean, and you know, some of them are cartoon characters, like
Sure.
Burnson and Berenger. They get to play like actual people. Dennis Haysbert is stuck doing like, I mean, he's such a weird character because they say he's Cuban and he fled from Cuba, but he's also into voodoo.
Right.
Yeah, and so he's just a whole mess of stereotypes that they put on him, and he gets to do them. There's a snake in his thing. He drinks rum.
Yeah.
It's very odd.
Yeah, it is odd. And, it's 1989, so we're not being very culturally aware. We also get the fan...
And the actor's a black guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Playing a Cuban.
Right. You mean he's not an actual Cuban?
Well, he's not Latino at all. He's just a black guy asked to play a Cuban voodoo master.
Right. And so they go through tryouts, and all the guys make it, but there's a neat scene where you get, red tagged if you didn't make the cut for the final selection. And I like the way that whole scene was shot, and each member kind of has their own little way of opening their locker. And I really liked that scene a lot. I thought that was very well done.
There's genuine suspense in that scene.
Yeah, there is.
The team.
There is, and Dorn fucks with Rick Vaughn and puts a tag in his locker because they are antagonistic towards each other.
Mm-hmm.
And basically then the season starts and they suck, and it takes a while to get going. We realize Rick Vaughn pitches so wildly because he needs glasses.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like basic stuff. Each player has one flaw in their game.
Yeah, and it's up to the coach. Who's the actor who plays the coach? Because he's fantastic.
James Gammon.
Yeah, it's up to him to sort of fix that one problem they all have. Because it's sort of like a team that's one step away from being great, and if they don't fix all this shit, they're going to come in last place.
Exactly.
It's ridiculously unrealistic, but it's also an inspirational sports movie, so it doesn't have to be realistic.
Right.
Yeah, Sheen has a bunch of issues in this movie, but he's also probably the most charismatic character.
Yeah.
Just because Sheen is like a fucking stray bullet in this movie, just ricocheting off the walls. I love him. He's so turned up. It's great. It's Tiger Blood to the max.
It really is. And it's steroids, too, because he was on steroids when he shot it.
I read that, which is great, because he doesn't even look big in the movie.
Nope.
I mean, what the fuck? He wanted to, throw better? It doesn't matter if you can actually throw. You're giving a performance.
Yeah, well, I watched I have the DVD, and I watched the behind this. There's some really good behind-the-scenes stuff on here. And
do you have the Wild Thing edition?
I do.
Yeah.
That's the one I got for $4 like 6 months ago.
That's my least favorite thing they used to do in DVDs is give the random edition names. There's the Ferris Bueller edition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Remember that.
The Holy Schneike edition of Tommy Boy.
Really?
Yeah.
Boy, I haven't seen that in a long time. Anyway. Yeah, no, but there's some really good stuff on the behind the scenes, and they talk about the actual actors' abilities of playing, and they're very frank about it. And they say who could do what and who couldn't do this, and Sheen was obviously the best player, and he already pitched in high school. He knew how to pitch, but I guess he wanted to really fucking amp up his performance. But of course, as you say, he doesn't need to throw 85 miles an hour. But I heard they say that he topped out at 89.
That's Sheen, man. He'll shoot steroids for the role.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah,
and you learn something cool too, like Dennis Haysbert. Every time they asked his character to hit a home run, he literally did. He would hit it out of the park.
That's great.
And you learn that Corbin Burnson could actually field excellently, but could not hit for shit. And Tom Berenger could hit very well, but couldn't catch. Just interesting stuff. And the only one, I thought this was the weirdest, because he's the one that does not look like an athlete at any point, was that Eddie Harris actually is the one who he pitched in college. Chelsea Ross.
Eddie Harris is the other pitcher.
Yeah, you put snot on the ball. Yeah.
The movie makes it seem like the Indians have two pitchers on their pitching staff, and they're the only two pitchers. They take turns starting, and whoever doesn't start comes in relief.
It makes no sense. I know. I've always see. That's one of the things about the movie that is funny to me that doesn't bother me. Like, I've definitely thought that. Like, not when I was a kid, I probably didn't even notice. But like, I've always wondered that. Like when I watch, I'm like, wait, Vaughn's a closer. Clearly, he's a closer. But then there's like scenes where they say, "Well, kid, I'm not going to start you. I'm going to go with Eddie for this guy. He's got a better record against the Yankees." And it's like, oh, well, so he would start?
Yeah,
So
I think he's starting the whole season and just makes that one relief appearance against the Yankees. It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Back to Charlie Sheen, though, man. I
Sure.
mean, I can't speak enough about him. I love that he shows up.
You're a big fan.
I'm a big fan, as you know. He shows up with a garbage bag of his clothing over his shoulder, like he's just been like wandering the country and ended up at a baseball diamond.
I love
it's
it.
great. It's such a perfect note for that character to come into the movie on. I mean, other than the previous scene where we see him in jail.
And that whole sequence where they're all arriving is hysterical. Like, 'cause the coach's reactions and questions to every guy, and it's just like one after the other. And it's like even with Jake Taylor, Tom Berenger's character, they're like, "Oh man, I wish we had him 4 years ago." And they're like, "We did." And it's like 2 years ago then.
Yeah, or when Wesley Snipes shows up and it's like, who's that guy? He's not on the list.
And when Charlie Sheen shows up, and he's the last one, of course, and all they do, like, this guitar music, like, starts rambling in, and they just go, "Look at this fucking guy."
Yeah, perfect. And that's something I've said a lot in my life.
Yeah, there are many lines in this movie that I noticed myself. I love the line Roger Dorn has. He's got actually some of the best lines, but I love when he says to Jake, he's like, "It was out of my reach. What do you want me to do? Dive for it?" And the cool thing in the DVD was they interview a bunch of real baseball players too, and how much they love it, and they quote the movie, and that's very funny too. But anyway, moving along. So what did you think of Bob Uecker?
Oh, he's the MVP of the movie.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that from you.
Yeah, these movies don't work without Bob Uecker. I think he's just the announcer. He's like narrating the baseball scenes. And I think part of the reason that the actual baseball scenes work as well as they do, and they need to work because there's a lot of them, and it's a sports movie, is Bob Uecker.
Yeah. Yeah.
The lazy announcer who has a bottle of Jack next to him the entire time. And says inflammatory things about the team and just like speaks out of his ass. It's amazing. And in many ways, I think Fred Willard's character in Best in Show owes a lot to Bob Uecker in Major League.
Now I'm sure you're kidding, but you do know it's Bob Uecker, right?
No, I didn't.
Really?
I've said Uecker all these years.
Oh my God. Okay, because you said it last week, and I thought it was very funny. That's why I laughed.
No,
it's Bob Uecker.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought you knew that also because I knew him as a kid in wrestling. He used to announce wrestling special matches.
Oh, that's awesome.
Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball. Yeah, Mean Gene Okerlund would bring him in and say, "Here's Mr. Baseball, Bob Uecker."
I love it. I really like that guy.
Yeah. His comments are hilarious, and not just the most famous one, just a bit outside. I like every other comment is much funnier than that one, but they're all very funny.
And he's got a good straight man there.
Who says nothing.
I don't think you could say that on television.
That's a difference. Nobody's listening anyway. I think I've said that on this podcast.
It's fun. There's also, there's a lot to talk about this movie because it was an influence on me in terms of my glasses, Henry.
Really?
Yep. I was really nervous to get glasses when I found out I needed them. I was 11 years old, and I thought glasses equal nerdy because when I was a kid, Steve Urkel had glasses.
Oh boy.
And he was the nerd, right?
Sure.
He back then Urkel is what like Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory is now, and no one like wants to be that guy.
Right.
And so, like, when I found out I had to get glasses, I was distraught.
I understand.
And
sure.
I remember people really trying to convince me. I was like, no, I squint. It's fine. And even when I got glasses, I would keep them in, like, a case, just in case I had to use them.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And, you mind if I get into, our own connection, too, probably with baseball would be for non-baseball, like, active players or whatever, you and me we're not bad. We played it as
we
kids
both played baseball. I mean, this is the first sports movie we're covering. I'm not a big sports guy. My favorite sport to watch is hockey, but the only one I was ever any good at playing is baseball.
And Dan was a catcher, and and I was a first baseman, and I also pitched a lot. And when we lived in New York, we used to get together with a couple of friends and go to Central Park and hit the ball around, and it was just very funny when Dan was a catcher because we just had like a rapport on the field very quickly.
I like to think of myself as a real Tom Berenger.
There you go. Yeah. And I think I'm more of an Eddie Harris than I am a Rick Vaughn, but maybe not. Maybe in those days I was Rick Vaughn. I don't know.
You were an Eddie Harris back then.
No, I always related, though, I got to be honest, as a kid and even now, I always related the most to the Tom Berenger character.
He's the most well-rounded. He's the only one that isn't just a mess of idiosyncrasies.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not like I had that much in common with the character. He's just still just the character that I really just feel a connection to. I always linked to him.
He's quicker. A quiet, funny romantic with 80s hair.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, that's you.
That's me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for the listeners that don't know, I do have a giant mullet.
You're just lucky you still have hair.
You are right.
Yeah.
And you too, my friend, motherfucker.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. My follicles are holding up.
Yeah.
Hey, Berenger, he goes to get Rene Russo back. I mean, were you invested in the Rene Russo romance? I had issues with that.
I was.
I wanted them to get back to the game.
Well, sure, and that's what if I did, remember I said that the one thing I did always think and then thought it even more watching it this time was I wanted some of those scenes to get trimmed. I don't think they needed to be cut, but like even the dinner sequence when he goes up to the fiance's apartment, like it's great because it's very uncomfortable and he's so humble and her fucking fiance is such a fucking slime bag. But it's very long. Like it goes on for a while. And,
I didn't totally understand their relationship. Rene Russo is set up. She was like an alternate for the 1988 gymnastics team.
1980, yeah.
1980?
Yeah.
That makes more sense because I was thinking like, there's no way she was on the gymnastics team 1 year ago.
Ouch.
No, I just mean she looks like she's in her fucking 30s.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, of course. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. She is. Yeah. No,
this is the second time we're covering Rene Russo on the podcast, and she's not in that many movies.
It's true. She's a franchise crossover, and you know who else is a franchise crossover?
I'm ready to talk about it right now because this is getting creepy.
Oh.
Are you saying who I'm saying?
I don't know. We'll say it at the same time. All right?
One, two, three.
Chelsea
Flynn.
Ross.
Whoa! Different ones. Okay, who's Chelsea Ross?
Well, I have Neil Flynn down for another reason, which I'm sure is not a surprise. Chelsea Ross is Eddie Harris.
Oh, okay. What else was he in?
Basic Instinct. He's one of the investigators into the case. He's in the famous sequence where Sharon Stone uncrosses her legs and all that shit.
Yeah. Is he the other pitcher?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, he's in that. Interesting.
Uh-huh.
I want to talk about Neil fucking Flynn.
Again.
We keep coming across this guy.
Oh my God, I know.
All right.
What
again, the fucking janitor from Scrubs.
Oy.
Currently on The Middle on ABC.
Yeah.
I mean, we came across him in The Fugitive.
Yeah.
He was a
Yeah.
cop. He had no lines.
Right.
You might think that's his first role because he had no lines.
Right.
It's not. He's here in Major League. All right?
Yeah.
And we also covered him in Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Yep.
He was an FBI guy in that.
That's right. Neil Flynn.
Why is he showing up in everything?
I don't know, man. I think he's stalking us. I have no idea.
It is weird.
It is weird.
If we ever,
It is.
that should be a special episode. We got to get an interview with Neil Flynn, where we don't ask him about Scrubs or The Middle, the two shows he was on that lasted 8+ seasons.
Right.
We just want to know
right.
about Major League, The Fugitive, and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I actually think I could probably get him. I think I could do it with my connections. So
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I think we can. I think we can probably get that to happen. So I'll make it happen.
I think we should make it happen,
Yeah.
Captain.
You know me. I'm able to get these guys on the show. I don't know how, but it works. So they trust me. So I'll get them on.
What's your feeling on Tom Berenger's career?
Yeah, good. I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to talk about him.
Uh-huh.
All right. My feeling on Tom Berenger is different than my feeling about his career.
He's fucking C-list, this guy.
Yeah, I love Tom Berenger. I think I think in a way it's a career lost. I was thinking about something when I watched the movie. Okay, two things came to my head. One, it's a reunion of Platoon for Charlie Sheen and Tom Berenger.
Yep.
This time playing friends, not enemies. And two, I was thinking about James Gammon and what else I had seen him in. You know, the manager.
Yeah.
And I realized
This guy.
he's in one of my favorite. Yeah,
This
he's
is
in one of
my
favorite.
James Gammon impression.
Yeah, everybody's probably got one of those. Yeah. Nice catch, Hayes. Don't ever fucking do it again. Great line.
Yeah.
He's in one of my favorite movies, Revenge. Not one of your favorite movies, but it got me to thinking something.
We got a Black Rain in this episode and Revenge. This must be your favorite episode ever.
It's not really, but listen. But I had a thought. James Gammon is in Revenge, okay, and I thought if Tom Berenger would have played the Kevin Costner role in Revenge, that would have been a really cool. Okay, I love the movie. I don't want to talk shit on it, but Tom Berenger would have really been great in that role.
Hey,
what do you think about that?
You had me at instead of Kevin Costner.
But what do you think? In all seriousness, you know the movie, you've seen it. What do you think?
I think any actor would be better than Kevin Costner in that role.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I really like Tom Berenger. I think he's a very good actor, and I think he's got a great screen presence. He's got an earnestness.
Put Neil Flynn in Revenge.
Okay, that's a little much.
Sorry.
But, yeah, it's okay. Neil Flynn in Revenge. But all right, looking at his career.
What's your favorite sniper movie?
Yeah, right. We got to cover those.
Yeah.
I actually never saw any of those.
Me neither. Who did?
No,
Who saw those? Who saw the fucking Substitute? No one gives a shit about this guy's franchises.
Look, I'm looking at him and I'm saying he had like a 7-year run where at least he was in movies that were in movie theaters.
Ugh, I know. He's such a straight-to-DVD guy.
Sad, though.
He's one of these dudes you see it like in like Sci-Fi Channel original movies, like Killer Croc versus Giant Octopus, starring Tom Berenger.
You're right, and I don't think that's deserved. I just don't really get it. I don't know if it's his agent or he's just makes poor decisions. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, he was hot shit in the 80s, man. I mean, he was in Platoon. He got an Oscar nod for that. He was in The Big Chill, which I hate, but, you know, it was a big hit.
Yeah, he was in that instead of Kevin Costner.
That's right. He was in Ridley Scott's worst movie, Someone to Watch Over Me. You know, he was in Shoot to Kill. I remember seeing in the theater he was in that thriller with Bob Hoskins and Greta Scacchi, Shattered.
I'll tell you who's had a better career than Berenger. Corbin Burnson.
On TV.
Yeah, but he's made a nice little career for himself.
Yeah, no.
He's been in some good movies, too.
You're right. And then I remember distinctly when I was in college and I saw Training Day in the theaters, and who the hell was thinking about Tom Berenger, and he fucking popped up in that. And I was like, "Oh my god, I thought he was dead."
You're right. He's one of these guys where like every so often a filmmaker thinks it's a real bright idea to put Tom Berenger in something. So he'll like
Inception.
resurface. Like Inception. That's a great fucking example.
Well, and that was the last one. Because he's been in like 11 movies since then. I've never heard of any of them.
Oh, is Tom Berenger not in the Christopher Nolan Repertory Company?
I wish he was.
Yeah.
I wish he was. Maybe you'd like him more than having a Tom Hardy. You could have Tom Berenger.
I want just like a quick update in all of Christopher Nolan's character, in all of Christopher Nolan's movies about what Tom Berenger is up to while everything's happening. Right? So it's like you're watching Interstellar, and then we just cut away, and it's like, oh, Berenger's having lunch. That's nice.
That was in somebody's dream within a dream, right? So you could do it in a Nolan movie.
Yeah, man, Nolan's movies are so fucking heady.
Yeah, just put him in a dream within a dream within a dream, and then yeah, he's a thought that DiCaprio had. Anyway,
DiCaprio.
Anyway,
there's franchise news about DiCaprio that I didn't even bother writing down.
Uh oh.
He's.
I do want to mention really quick. Berenger did have a little nice role and got an Emmy Award for being in Hatfields and McCoys, which I actually really liked.
Yeah, that's Costner too, right?
Yeah, you didn't watch it, right?
I skipped it.
I bet you did.
Mm-hmm.
What was your DiCaprio update? And then I want to get back to the fucking movie.
DiCaprio's producing a remake of The Right Stuff for the Nat Geo channel.
For the Nat Geo channel?
Yeah.
That's I'm not interested. Yeah, at all.
But it's your man. It's Leo.
It's not my fucking man. I don't, doesn't mean I watch every fucking thing the guy does.
Have you ever not seen a Leonardo DiCaprio movie?
I don't know.
I bet you've seen every movie he's ever been in.
It's possible.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I ever saw This Boy's Life.
Did you see Blood Diamond?
Oh yeah.
Ugh. He is exhausting.
Yeah, you just have an unhealthy hatred of him.
It's not a hatred. It's just I don't get it. I don't get what people see in him. He's not a good actor.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get back to the movie.
Okay.
Let's throw a curveball here.
Berenger and Russo, they have some very tender love scenes set to ridiculous songs that I guess they were hoping to get Oscar nominations from or something.
That is a bad song. And you know what's interesting is when they just play that little love theme on the piano before it goes like full fucking blown 80s Greg Allman or whoever the hell it is.
Huge orchestra, huge symphonic orchestra.
It's nice. It's nice. It's a nice little solo piano thing. It's not invasive. It's and then when it's like non-invasive surgery, and then when the voice comes in, it's like, oh man,
yeah,
bad stuff. Because otherwise, I actually like the score from another crossover we've covered many times, James Newton Howard. One of his earlier, it's nice. It's like kind of got rock. It's kind of got some fun, nice string work. It fits the mood of the film very well.
It gets a little heavy-handed in the emotional beats, but other than that, I think it's fine.
But I really like during the games, even the non-emotional beats, like when it's more tense, like anytime Willie Mays Hayes is stealing bases, it's like ratcheted up. It's very good. I think it's cool.
Willie Mays Hayes. I know I talk about Wesley Snipes so effusively every time we cover a Wesley Snipes movie on this podcast. As in,
second time.
Yeah, I know, but I did on U.S. Marshals. But I just love him. And young Wesley Snipes just has it all.
Yep.
He's so funny in this movie, physically, verbally. He's wonderful.
He is great, and it kind of makes you wish he did more comedies.
It does. It certainly makes me wish he was in Major League 2, because he's one of the actors that sat out, right?
I think you're right, yeah. Now, I'm surprised you haven't brought this up yet, and I'd be surprised if you didn't know, but do you know what he turned down to be in Major League?
What he turned down to be in Major League 1?
What he turned down in order to take the leading role in Major League, he turned down a minor role in another movie.
What?
Do the Right Thing.
Oh, because he worked with Spike a lot early in his career. Yeah, I
Nope.
mean,
Right. He worked with Spike after this because but he
yeah,
was
he's
happy.
in Mo Better Blues and Jungle Fever, which are his two best performances, I think.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's interesting. I wonder who he would have played in Do the Right Thing.
I don't know. Apparently, it was a very minor role, and he knew he'd get the lead in one of the leads in this, so he chose this.
I bet it
And
was
I-
like the Martin Lawrence role or something.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad he did because he's so great in this movie, and Do the Right Thing is fine without him.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. So
Mhm.
that's all good.
No, he's a joy in Major League. I mean, he's a joy for most of his career. I feel bad for what he's doing now. At the time of recording the U.S. Marshals episode, he at least had a television show on the air,
Oh yeah, what was that?
The Player,
Mm.
and that got canceled really fast. And now I saw him on the fucking the Today Show this week,
Ooh.
shilling for a novel that he wrote.
Really?
Yeah. It's
Oh,
called
boy.
like God of Thorns or something.
You know what's more surprising to me than that?
Game of Thorns. What?
That you were watching the Today Show.
Sometimes I watch my sister's babies in the morning, and my
Aw.
mother is there, and she'll keep it on like Kathy Lee and Hoda and shit. So it's on the background. One weird thing about that show is that I've never seen. They have like musicians come on and perform sometimes, and I've never once seen a modern act. I saw Smash Mouth perform on there. I saw Third Eye Blind perform on there, and here's the saddest one, Henry.
Uh-oh.
I saw Mark McGrath perform on there. Not Sugar Ray, but Mark McGrath just holding a microphone with like the background music of that song Fly playing behind him.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's how he's touring these days. It's a bummer.
Oh wow, that's depressing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Stick to
boy.
being Ian Ziering's brother in Sharknado, Mark McGrath. Jeez.
Woo.
Yep.
Talk a little bit about Margaret Whitten, because I like her as the villainess in this. I think she's great.
The villains in this movie are a little too mustache twirly for me.
Yeah, Bill in. There really isn't more than one.
No, I feel like there are, right? Like, even on the team, there's villains.
Well, I don't think so.
I don't know. But yeah, she's ridiculous. I think it's a good performance, but this is an actress who doesn't have a big career, does she? She only has like a few credits.
She has a few credits. She died young.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. She died of cancer pretty young, quite a while ago.
Eating too much pussy.
Jesus Christ.
They call that death the Douglas.
Oh, what was that tweet we got about crassness? Oh.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that was very sweet. Anyway, yeah.
Can't imagine why we earned that.
No.
Yeah. I remember her in Secret of My Success. That's what I know her from. And this. I remember her being the seductress in that movie.
Okay, I never saw that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice MJ Fox vehicle. And then the alternate ending to this movie, of course. First, let's get to the ending. I love the ending. It's very dramatic. They're playing, of course, I'm sorry, but it's just, I think, beloved by just as many people for the reason that they're playing the New York Yankees.
Yeah, and they've all got mustaches. No one tells Steinbrenner.
Yeah. yeah. Get them military haircuts going.
Mhm.
And everyone hates the Yankees, and that's
Hey.
universal. That's universal. So no, I mean, obviously, I have friends who are not douchebags who like the Yankees. So
Like
they
me?
do, right? So they do exist, people who like the Yankees and are actually cool people, but the majority aren't. But the team is the Yankees, and they go for the pennant. They have one game, and it's very dramatic, and it comes down to the last two outs. You get a great intro with Rick Vaughn coming into the music you heard at the beginning of our show, a Joan Jett's version of Wild Thing.
It's not Joan Jett's version.
It's not Joan Jett's version of Wild Thing.
No. I don't
Who
remember
is-
whose it is, but
I thought it was Joan Jett. I totally
on the IMDb trivia it said something like, a lot of people think this is Joan Jett, but it's not.
So did I.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's like nobody.
I don't remember.
Huh.
Whatever.
And
But it's a cool version.
yeah, and then my doppelganger Behringer, he comes up to the plate and he points. He's gonna points to the. He calls his shot like.
Yeah, he
Babe.
does the old Babe Ruth.
Yeah, and Willie Mays Hayes steals second, and then Taylor lays down a bunt, and Willie Mays Hayes scores all the way from second base, and it's fucking glorious.
Yeah.
And the alternate ending, we find out that all along, Rachel Phelps wanted the team to win, but couldn't afford it because her late husband had put it near bankruptcy, and she figured the only way she wanted to get these players, she scouted them privately and knew that they would come together with the help of the manager Lou, and so it all worked out. But then they test screened it for audiences. Audiences didn't like it. They just liked her as a villain, so they reshot the ending where she's cheering for the Indians and had her sit down and be very upset.
I
So,
prefer it
I don't
that
know.
way. It's cleaner.
With her just being a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I don't need to add last-second depth to this character.
Right, I agree.
Like, you can't have her as a mustache-twirly villain the entire movie and then at the end say, no, see, she had a heart the whole time.
Yeah, I agree, and that brings us to something that I'm sure we'll talk about at another point, maybe more in depth. We've talked about like directors listening to fans and directors listening to executives, but like this is definitely an interesting thing with preview audiences. We've never really discussed that. Is that they still do that,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. But are there filmmakers out there? If you have a certain amount of clout, they don't preview audiences anymore, do they?
I mean, if you have a certain amount of clout, you have final cut on the project, so even if they do, it doesn't matter. And more, they don't do pre-screenings of these movies because they're franchise movies and the internet exists, so they get spoiled.
Okay.
But they'll do that for smaller movies to sort of gauge how many theaters to put them in or whether a questionable bit was right for the movie or to learn what to cut. It happens all the time.
And in case any of our listeners don't know, like, don't they give you like a card to fill out and stuff like that when it's over? Like stuff you liked, stuff you didn't, and stuff like that? Yeah.
I saw one movie that way, Henry.
I was just going to ask you if you've ever been to one.
Yeah. A little film called I Love You, Man.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's right. That's how I saw it.
But I knew you then. I don't even know if you even told me that.
I'm sure I must have.
You must have, yeah. What'd you say? You said this movie sucks?
No, I had good things to say about it. I think I said some of the like gross out humor doesn't work as well.
Oh.
Yeah. Like the big vomit scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So, you have anything more to say about Major League?
Clearly you don't.
No, I just found it to be an enjoyable movie. It's a weird one to do an entire episode about.
It is.
But it came out of necessity because we have we wanted to do a franchise update. It's been a while since we did that, and we have Major Leagues 2 and 3 down the pike. So I didn't want to just cover all the Major League movies in one episode.
Can I ask you, before we wrap up then, can I ask you if it's possible for you to maybe name, I think it's too broad for favorite sports movies of all time, but could you name off the top of your head like your three to five favorite baseball movies?
Yeah, Bad News Bears.
Okay.
Is great. Jesus. I mean, that's really hard. Like,
well, I'll give
off
you
the top of my
mine,
head.
and
Okay.
I'll give you some of
8
mine.
Men Out. I love 8 Men Out.
Okay. All right.
What are some of yours?
Well, in no order. Major League, The Natural.
Yeah, that's
good. Bull Durham.
Yeah, that's the best of the Costner sports movies.
8 Men Out and Moneyball.
Oh, fucking Moneyball's great. Yeah, I'll go with that. Bad News Bears, 8 Men Out, and Moneyball. That'll be my top 3 baseball movies.
All right.
Yeah, those are very good movies.
Yeah. Baseball's got a good run. in movies. There's some bad ones, but other sports have worse.
Yeah, there's bad ones. Field of Dreams.
Yep. Agreed. We're gonna
For
hit
Love
things.
of the Game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed on both, and I think most people would agree with For Love of the Game. But God, does Field of Dreams have?
Oh, you know what's a good one? Here, going way back. There's a couple of good old baseball movies. Pride of the Yankees.
Oh, never saw it.
With Gary Cooper as Lou Gehrig. It's a really good movie. And really underrated. Not a lot of people know about this movie, I feel like. Fear Strikes Out.
Don't know it.
Yeah, it's with like Anthony Perkins, and he plays this like fucking insane pitcher.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a baller movie.
And there's actually a very good HBO movie about a team I hate.
61?
Yeah.
61's great, yeah. Directed by Blackface Master Billy Crystal.
I know, which really annoys me.
Yeah. It's better than his fucking basketball movie, that piece of shit.
Oh, man, that's right.
What, did you forget Paris already?
Yeah, I did forget Paris.
Yeah.
I never even saw that, but
Yeah.
Woo. Oh boy. Yeah, the running gag, right? He's a really short ref, and everyone else is really tall.
That was the mid-'90s. There were a lot of real goofy sports movies hanging around. Wait, that is not what that movie is. You're getting this mixed up. Forget Paris. He plays like a basketball referee that falls in love. You're thinking of his other sports movie, My Giant.
No, I was thinking of Forget Paris.
Oh, okay.
That's, oh boy, My Giant. I never saw the Quaid one, The Rookie. That gets a lot of people.
It's okay.
Yeah,
it's an inspirational tale. But yeah, that was the thing in the mid-'90s where there were a lot of like real goofy sports movies. So you had like the Mighty Ducks franchise. You had like Eddie, where Whoopi Goldberg coaches the Knicks. You had Space Jam. You had The Big Green was quite a soccer movie.
I bet you like the Mighty Ducks.
Oh, I loved the fuck out of the Mighty Ducks at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say one more thing about the movie that I
With
liked.
Charlie Sheen's brother, by the way.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. I wanted to ask you what one of my favorite moments in the movie is after Charlie Sheen unknowingly sleeps with Dorn's wife, and he's kind of running away from him.
Yeah.
And then Dorn comes up to him when Clu Haywood, played by real-life baseball player Pete Vukovich, you don't know what's going to happen, and he goes up to the mound and he just says, "Vaughn, I just got one thing to say to you: strike this motherfucker out."
Yeah.
Gives me chills. I love it.
It's good.
Great. It's great.
Good uses of fuck in Major League.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant.
All right, what do you grade this movie?
5 fucking stars.
It's
one of my favorite movies of all time and one of my favorite sports movies of all time. It is not a nostalgia buster.
No, not for me either, and I'm giving it a solid 4, but I think 5 is a bit too far.
All right, that's fine. I'm glad you're giving it 4.
I was more between 4 and 3 than 4 and 5.
Yeah, I actually thought this would be the second time you might come on and give it sort of a Fletch rating. Like it was a huge surprise to you. I was kind of thinking you might have.
I've seen it enough that it would never have been a huge surprise for me. Okay. I actually think I liked it less than I thought I was going to, but I still liked it tremendously.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And your MVP?
I mean, it's so hard.
Well, you said
I'll go. Who did I say? Oh, Bob Uecker. Yeah. But it could just as easily be Sheen or Wesley Snipes or the coach.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I had to tie it. I'm going Berenger, and I'm tying it with the writer-director because I think he really pulled something special off in this movie.
Okay.
And my LVP is not really an actor, but it's a character.
Who's that?
And that is Lynn's fiance.
Well,
I just
when I said the villains in the movie are mustache twirly, that's the other one I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Because there's just no universe where Rene Russo would actually be marrying this fool.
You'd think not, but you've probably seen it happen, so I don't know.
All right.
And I got a superhero count.
Okay.
5 people.
Okay.
3 we've covered. Rene Russo is Frigga in Thor's 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Flynn, of course, is in Smallville as Pete Dinsmore.
Sure.
Wesley Snipes, of course, Blade.
Yeah.
And then the two that we've never done, Dennis Haysbert. In the 1970s Incredible Hulk, he played a guard in an episode of that.
Man, he's that old? I didn't even realize.
Yeah, he's in his 60s, I think. And in the 90s, he was in a few cartoons, The New Batman Adventures, playing a character I've never heard of called Barclay James.
Okay.
Superman, the animated series, he played a character called Agent Number 1.
He's got a deep voice. They like that.
What's that?
He's got a deep voice. They like that. He was the
Exactly,
Kevin Michael
exactly.
Richardson of his day.
And for 3 straight years in a row, he was in the cartoon Justice League playing a character called Kilowog.
Kilowog's a main. Yeah, that's one of the Green Lanterns.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And then my favorite one of the superhero count, James fucking Gammon, Coach Lou.
Uh-huh.
Lou Brown was in the 1960s classic Batman TV show. Apparently, which I thought I'd seen every episode of, but I sure don't remember him, played a villain called Osiris.
Oh, he shows up in a lot of episodes. It's just
Really?
it's just a silly Egyptian themed villain. I think he's like, you know how that show, the villains team up a lot. I think he's often a part of that.
Oh, very funny. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't remember him.
Mm-hmm. That's funny.